Hello, the Gentleman Gamer here, and today I'm playing EVE Online on the test server. And today I logged in to check out a couple things CCP put up on the server for us to test out. One of them being the new Tech 2 Logistic Frigates, like this one. This one is the Deacon, the Amarian one. And the other thing I want to take a look at is the new shield, armor, and hull damage effects that they added for all the ships in the game. So first we'll take a look at the new Tech 2 Logistic Frigates. Now these are Logi Frigates that previously didn't have a Tech 2 counterpart. So this is the counterpart to the Inquisitor. It uses the same model, which again, for my last video, I would like that SCP would make different models for the Tech 2 versions of these ships. But I know it's more difficult, but I would just like it more. But but it does have a new paint job. It has the I believe they are SARM colors, I think. I'm actually not sure. It looks like SARM, but let's see who made this ship. Cartham. So Cartham colors, I assume. And it gets some pretty cool bonuses, I think. Compared to, let's take a look at the Inquisitor first off. The Inquisitor gets a rep amount and activation costs. And this new roll bonus here is actually a change in mechanics in general. They're adding fall off and optimal range to all remote repaired modules. So there's an armor one, so it gets a fall off and optimal range bonus, and the shield counterpart gets only a fall off bonus. But we'll take a look at the Deacon now, and you see it gets the activation cost and the amount from before, but it gets another reduction activation cost and duration, and also gets a 7.5 bonus to all armor hit points. So it's a little more beefier tank wise and take a little more damage. Now most of these are very similar to each other, all races. Like let's see here, the Galanti one, which uses the Navitas hull, as you can see here. It's a little more of that darker red color. You see here it has very similar bonuses to... Oh, nope, not that one. It has very similar bonuses to the Amar one, because it is an armor repair ship. But it gets, instead of the armor hit points, it gets a signature reduction. So you'll be signature tanking with this one a little more than the Amar. And it also gets the optimal range and fall off, same as the other one. Now we look into the shield ones. We'll start off with the Caldari one here. It uses the Bantam hull, which is not exactly the prettiest hull in the game, but it is what it is. We'll take a look at the bonuses it gets. Now these are one of the first shield one we're looking at, and it gets a duration cost for the shield, remote shield booster. It also gets the activation cost down here and an amount bonus as well, but it gets 7.5 bonus to all shield chip points per level, which makes it a way tankier if you get this to 5, which is very, very cool. But you see the difference here for the shield bonus, it gets a increase in fall off, but not optimal range. So it is a little different when it comes to that. But I believe all shield modules will have that difference built in. I think after the 8th, when these come out and the new mechanics for remote repping in general. Now the last one we're looking at is the Minotaur. I think it's called Scalpel. I think. Let's take a look at that. And actually look at it too. So I do like the way this is from the burst model, and I think it does look pretty cool. It's the Minotaur should always look a little different. And sometimes they pull it off like great, and sometimes they don't. But this one I think looks pretty cool. It's a little off-center, asymmetrical. I think, but it does. It seems pleasing to the eye for me anyway. And it has a cool. I think it's the Thucker hull. I think Thucker colors. Yeah. So it gets again the same bonuses as the Caldari one, plus the fall off. But it gets the signature radius reduction. So it's harder to hit because the signature will be lower. So I think these ships would be very cool for small gangs or just even large frigate fleets or destroyer fleets. Maybe in combination with the new command destroyers, these ships would be very cool. And I think it's a nice, a good bridge to Tech 2 logistic cruisers too, if you want to go that route. Personally, I want to do Logi, and I always wanted to bring something better than a Tech 1, but there was never an option, but now there is. So you can spend a little extra ISK and obviously more skill points learning this. So there's a new skill for it, I believe. Let's see. Yes, Logistics Frigate, which you have to learn, is not grandfathered in, so you don't have to learn it. But it is a lot better than the Tech 1s and just slightly more tanky. So it's very nice to have the option now of having a Tech 2 Logi Frigate. So with those out of the way, let's go into the shield, armor, and the hull, the new aesthetics for that. And for that, I'm using this ship. Yep, slightly damaged, of course. I've been testing this thoroughly. This is the Imp, is one of the Alliance tournament ships. And why am I using this? Mostly because I can never really fly this on TQ. So I want to use it somewhere. And as you can see, it has a little bit different paint job than the regular Santa ships. And this model actually is not usually a playable model for Capsuleers. It's usually, we see this on NPCs. We never really could fly it. But you can see I damaged this quite a bit. The front, the back, everything's kind of on fire, kind of. Also seeing some hull damage here. But let's take a look at this in action. Let's take a look. Where is my ships here? I have 2 shield ships here, 2 armor, and I have 2 ships in hull damage. So let's take a look at the Tempest I believe I have out here, and the Raven. So let's move up on them here, get a little closer. Let's go out the Raven. We'll orbit it around 4,000. Is that a good range for this? A little farther away. Let's do 7,000. Let's do that. And we'll look at the Raven real quick. And we'll see the new shield effects. Okay, let's do that one. And there you go. You see the slight shield there too. Now it looks very, very cool. And I'm not seeing any frame rate drop from this. I was concerned when I first saw this that there would be some sort of performance decrease. But it doesn't seem like the case. It's a pretty strong 60 frames a second right now. As you can see, as the ship moves around, the position of the shield damage changes. So it's very much dependent on where it gets hit. So it looks very cool. It reminds me very much of like of Star Trek shielding when it gets hit. So it looks very awesome. And I think the color is dependent on the race as well. So let's take a look at, let's turn this off and take a look at the Tempest here. Now they should be like reddish, I assume. But let's find out. Let's orbit that one. We'll start shooting it. There we go. Yeah, it's like a reddish color. It looks very cool. And as you can see, again, as the ship moves, it will slightly move with the actual position of the damage, which does add. I was also afraid that it would just be one spot, like over and over again. But it looks very cool. And again, very Star Trek-y, which I love Star Trek. So having effects like this in the game and doesn't seem to be causing any performance issues, it's awesome. That's beautiful. Alright, let's move on to armor now. Now I have 2 ships for that as well. I have the Dominix and I have a Abaddon, or how else you call it. I call it Abaddon. Let's untarget these. And I pre-damaged the Dominix here. So let's take a look. Actually, let's start orbiting the Abaddon here. But let's take a look at the Dominix. And as you can see, there's extensive damage all the way across it. It looks like pretty much the structure is exposed to all the damage. And it kind of looks like it's on fire, kind of. But the one thing I found kind of weird, that when I damaged this, I was not really paying attention. I was not moving. And all the damage happened in this part of the ship right here. But then I went to the station and came back. And after I came back, I'm assuming with the session change, the damage was spread across the entire hull. So I think this looks better than before. But I do like the damage being consistent in the area that was fired upon. Now I'm not sure if that's actually realistic for coding wise for that to be achieved or not. But either way, it looks really, really cool. So let's take a look at the Abaddon here. Let's see how we can how the damage looks in action. The shielding came back up in the meantime, but let's see if we can knock that down. We'll take a look at the MR shields too. To both lasers on there. And you can see it now it has the gold color, which makes sense because MR has the golden fleet. Any other color would just be weird. Again, very cool. I like the shield on the Abaddon seems to be a little closer to this ship than the Raven, though. I wonder if that's on purpose or not. We're going to get into armor pretty quick now. Let's see here. Where are we shooting from? Over here. Oh, we've seen the first bit of damage there. On the engines. Very cool. Apparently, you like shooting at the engines, apparently. Now, I like this very specific area damage you get. Like this. I will hope maybe in the future, maybe it won't just be aesthetic. Maybe in the future they can actually pull off, like wherever your guns hit, the actual, wow, it's really cool. See, like this starting to form and stuff. Wherever your guns hit, maybe the functionality of the ship will be affected at some point. But that's probably way in the future, and that would make the game a whole new dimension of gameplay and strategy to the game. I'm not sure if it would be fun or not. Most people go right for the thrusters probably. But it does look really, really cool. You can see it's spreading as it goes around the ship and attacking various parts of it. And we'll stop right before structure though. And we'll take a look, survey the damage I caused here. Right about there is good. As you can see here, pretty much every place that has been fired has been damaged, exposing some of the structure. Now again, this was kind of weird before because the same type of damage happened on the Dominics. And when I came back from the station, it was spread across. So it's probably if you have a change in session or warp back and forth, the damage probably more evenly around the ship model. But either way, I think it's pretty cool. So let's take a look at the actual structure damage now for the hull. Now for that, I have a Megatron here, which I already bashed on a little bit. So let's take a look at that. Now you see again the widespread damage, which looks really cool, but the structure damage is pretty much this stuff. The lighting, as you can see, is barely kept on. Before the thrusters were only flickering off and on, and I think that's really cool. I like the way how dramatic the lighting just turns, like it's barely, like literally, it's barely holding on. But I think it'd be cool as well in the future. Maybe if CCP can have like literally parts of the ship not on there anymore, it'd be cool. That's probably asking a bit too much. But seeing this, I think it would be even cooler having like parts of the ship, like maybe this bow head part broken, whatever you call this thing broken, or this part like broken. Just the possibilities for this seem so cool. So, but that is the damage part here. I do want to show one more thing. They did update some of the repping modules, or what the aesthetic effect to them. So let's take a look back at the ship here. And there he is, just flying around to stop him. Now you see this ship has been extensively damaged because of my shenanigans. So let's first try the shield. The shields aren't damaged, but you'll see the differing effect when I turn on the actual modules here. I'll do the shield booster. That's a new effect as well. It looks really cool. I like the way that looks. The only problem I have with that effect, it only happens once. I'm pretty sure before the ship would have a blue glow around it every time you boost the shields, but this time it only happens once now, and you can't tell that it's happening anymore. So I know sometimes in PvP, when I PvP, I do look at the ship and I'll notice that it's boosting or not, so I know it's using capacitor or not. But if this is how it's going to be from now on, it'd be kind of difficult to really know what it's doing if you don't catch the initial cycle. So I'm hoping that effect will be on again every time it cycles, or some other effect will be on when it cycles. But the effect does look pretty cool though. Now let's look at the adaptive vulnerability field. I think that changed as well. Let's see. There you go. Oh, that looks really cool. Again, I like the effect. It looks really cool, but I don't think it happens again. Yeah, there you go. See? So after the initial cycle, you really can't tell that it's actually on. And I think that might be a problem. People will actually watch other people's ships and see what they're doing from the cues. So I'm hoping some other effect or that effect comes on every time you cycle. But I guess time will tell with that. I know they're still working on this stuff, so we'll see. Let's turn that off. Hit cap. And I think one of the cooler parts of this is the armor. Now see how bad the armor is here. It's banged up all over the place. So let's try to rep it here now. And there you go. Look at that. It only affects the broken parts of the armor. Look at that. Every little piece that's been busted up, the armor repair will be focusing on that. And it looks so cool. I'm really digging that. Wow. It looks fantastic. So I'm really digging that. And you see it's slowly repairing itself. And the armor should be back to normal soon. As you can see, it looks getting cleaner and cleaner. And the armor should be back to normal. Let's see. Turn this off. Boom. Look at that. It looks beautiful. Back to shiny condition. But my structure is still damaged, right? So now I'm not sure if they fixed this or not, because quite frankly the hull modules aren't used a whole lot in the game because they're slow, and hull tanking is like, I'm assuming it's a more of a buffer than an active repping thing right now. It might change in the future, but I think the effect is the same though. Yeah, it's the same. So it's not. So I can see why they didn't update it, because no one really uses them. But it would be cool to see like the structure like turn back up. Well, you'll see that, but the actual effect is the same. You see now with the structure being damaged, the lights are barely turning on. They're flickering, kind of like the with the Megathrong. And I assume if I leave this on long enough, those lights will stabilize, and be more of a consistent lighting. But that is the video, guys. I think these are very cool changes. And I think in the future we'll see even more stuff like this that gives a much more sci-fi feel to the game. And I'm all for it, so. but thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you like the content, of course, subscribe. And fly safe, and fly brave.